I got bullish news for XRP, XLM, and altcoin fans. That's right, Big Daddy might give us the jumbo cut we've been looking for. Inflation is coming down. Mysterious movements of XRP. Price action at the end.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Well, hello, crypto and Web3 fans. I got a heat map up on the screen, but before we get into that, we go to your comments. Hot, spicy, naughty, relevant. Maybe I'll share it in the beginning of the next one. R. Smith starts us off, says, XRP will move. Jerry G gotta go hold. Basically saying that we're going to get some election day volatility. We are starting to see some things move here, especially with the alts as of late. I like seeing it. There was a bit of pressure on crypto here over the last 24 hours, but it's starting to swing around. Yin Hubert says, Klaus, let's be real. The only thing that makes me sane is the belief that I hold the only cryptocurrency that is sued by the SEC and that is in direct competition with fiat. Wow, amazing to know. I hold something special. We're going to talk about great news for the alts, and yeah, it doesn't have to do with the election. Blaine Curry says, I think Trump wins in a landslide today, and we will know the results before we go to bed on the West Coast with over 300 electoral votes. Not a chance in hell. There is no way either Trump or Harris is going to concede today. There is no, I'm telling you right now, these two are going to battle it out until the last second. In some states, it's going to take a few days even to count the votes. I'm thinking give us a week at minimum for us to be able to call the election. Bitcoin up 3%. BNB up 2%. Prices? No, because I want to show you the relative movement of the action. XRP up 1.87%. Avalanche up pretty big. Doge up big. I like seeing that kind of stuff. Aptos moving. Litecoin moving. PayPay moving. HBAR moving. Filecoin moving. Look at this. This is a good one, isn't it? Yeah, because I've got some good news for you. Altcoins become crypto's biggest risk trade as election draws to a close. Bitcoin rose as much as 4.8% on Tuesday. Hey, that's today, or about 5% below its all-time high. Doge jumped as much as 18% by, a little bit of Musk comments. And this is what Zahir Ebitar said. For Bitcoin, the election doesn't matter much. For altcoins, they may not recover as much if Kamala Harris wins. These are the biggest winners of the election. The reason they're saying that is Bitcoin has gotten the protection from the governments, right, as a commodity. Altcoins don't have that protection. And what they're basically saying is if Cam wins, that's going to put more pressure on the alts until we get updated regs. But that's stuff we all know about. But let's start talking about new things. Okay. Inflation cools in September, but don't expect another jumbo interest rate cut. We already got one, but could we get another one? And how much could that help out the markets? Listen to this. The Fed starting raising interest rates after inflation took off 3 years ago, peaking at 9.1%. In fact, it got way worse. When you start adding the compounding effect, we were talking 20+%. Many expected higher interest rates to trigger a slowdown in the economy as borrowing became more expensive, but unemployment has remained relatively low and consumer spending is staying strong. I remember 2 years ago when forecasts were saying, well, there's no real way to get inflation down without a recession. That came from Heather Bauschy, an economist in the White House Council of Economic Advisors. Core inflation, which excludes food and energy, rose 2.7% annually, although overall inflation has continued a downward trend. Yes, inflation is coming down, but there's also competition. See, the Bank of Canada came out with the big jumbo 50 basis point cut. So now when these global markets are looking to start making juicy investments, people are going to go where those investments are cheaper, less risky. Now, we're guaranteed a 25 basis point cut. And you're like, well, Klaus, when is the next Fed meeting? All we've been hearing about is the election. And you're right. That is all we've been hearing about. But we've got rate cuts. See, the world still moves outside of politics. A 97% chance that on Thursday the 7th, we're going to get a rate cut, and we're definitely going to be live streaming. I'm going to try to live stream tonight. I'm still not feeling 100% from my race. I'm having a little bit of cognitive issues, and it really hurts for me to stand right now. But I'll at least be able to get a live stream going with Jerome Powell on Thursday. So 97% chance that we're going to get a cut. Now watch what happens, because we don't just have this rate cut. We've got one in December too. And you got to ask yourself, does Santa Claus know something? Santa Claus know if it's going to be good or juicy? Well, guess what? You got a 76% chance that by now in the time of the December 18th contract, you're going to get 2 rate cuts. That's very, very significant. So we could be ending the year at 425, 450. That would be awesome. And with our friends up north here coming out with the big 50, well, that puts pressure on the United States to not get left behind. Do I think we're going to get a 50 all at once? No, I think we're going to get a 25 on this meeting and a 25 on the next one. Still good, though. Seriously, still good. And we've got 12 to 18 more months of rates coming down. And rates coming down can help all of cryptocurrency. Why? All this stuff that you see up on the screen here is risky. We all understand it. It's risky, right? Bitcoin is boring. It's really slow. The alts are risky. Well, risky stuff becomes more affordable when money becomes cheaper, and money becomes cheaper and less risky when what, everyone? When rates come down, right? Wouldn't you rather pay 5% on a car and home loan than say 15% on a car loan, 8% on a home loan, right? You know what I'm talking about. All right, now let's talk about a massive movement of XRP. This is crazy, but there's a story behind it, and I'm going to tell that story so that you kind of know what's going on. Now that you're definitely going to know what's going on. Mysterious $800 million XRP withdrawal stuns the top South Korean exchange. Unusual activity on the crypto market continues today. Yeah, volatility. There's some volume going on. Bithumb, according to Whale Report alerts, moved 586 million XRP. Then they moved even more. And then they moved even more. In fact, they moved $800 million worth of XRP. And if you want to follow this, the wallets and all that, this article and everything else is all linked to everyone down below. So now here's the deal, though. This was Bithumb just moving the money around. So when this all happened, people were freaking out. And why were they freaking out? Because it was estimated that 1.58 billion in total XRP was moved. And people started freaking. My phone started going off. Because I sign up for all the alerts and all that. And I'm like, holy crap. Who is making a big move here pre-election? And it was just housekeeping. They were moving the XRP from one wallet to another. So no reason to panic. No reason to worry. No one was making any plays. It was just Bithumb moving some money. Made it look like whales were making some plays. Now, in terms of XRP, XLM price action, look, you're not going to see much movement until you start seeing some results come across the screen. And you're like, well, Klaus, when are the election results actually start happening? First poll should be closing at about 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And as those polls close, they can then start reporting what the counts are in the counties and so forth that are reporting. So look for later today to start seeing some more action and some more movement in the market. I'm hoping to see more green as the election maybe goes pro-crypto. Now, for it to go pro-crypto, there's a couple things that can happen. You can win presidency, you can win Senate, you can win House, you can win all three. There's different ways of making things happen here. And remember, voting is not just all about crypto, but this is a crypto channel, so I want to keep that centric in our points. But right now, the market is looking green, as we know that just past the election, that's right, all we got to do is get past this election bullshit for just a few more days. And then we're going to be talking about rate cuts. And rate cuts is some of the most bullish news out there for XRP, XLM, and the alts. So when it comes to price action, I'm not going to pay much attention until I start seeing those first polls close and seeing if the price reacts to it. And I'm not poo-pooing the idea of a landslide of Trump or Kamala winning or anything like that. What I'm trying to tell you is even if one side is up by a ton, that other side is not going to concede easily. They're going to fight this through as long as possible. So if someone still has a 0.1% chance of winning, they're not going to concede. They're going to fight. So that means we got to wait a few days to get through this election bullshit. And then we get to the talks about rate cuts. And the coolest thing about it is we got one on Thursday the 7th, live stream. Then we got one in December. And then we go into the 2025 fiscal calendar where, you know, we're going to have a slew of rate cuts all freaking year long. And the best part about it is you're going to start seeing some of the economy start churning, moving, and opening up as rates come down, because it just becomes cheaper to play in risky assets. Think about that. You want to buy a house, right? Let's say you want to buy a $500,000 home. I know, in California, you're like, bro, that's a one-bedroom apartment. I get it. Let's say you want to buy a $500,000 home. Paying 10% interest on that home is nuts. Paying 5% interest, woo, that leaves you a lot of discretionary money that's not being eaten up by interest. That discretionary money could go into what? Things that retail fuels. What is retail fuel besides spending like at Walmart, buying big TVs and all that stuff? It's crypto. So as these rates come down and as the risk comes down, we can take more calculated risk financially. So I get it. Elections, annoying AF. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of the robocalls. While I was racing, by the way, and had my headphones in while I was in the zone running around, I'm getting like calls. Can you support this? Can you donate? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a mood killer. But we'll be done with that election soon enough. And then we start talking about rate cuts. And we're going to keep talking about rate cuts for the next 12 to 18 months. Now I'm not just talking about rate cuts in the United States. I'm talking about global rate cuts. This is going to get juicy here because you're going to start seeing players take more risk. And altcoins are all about risk. So pull out and choo-choo, bitches. Unless you like the risk.